Do you want to see how far editing goes for this? Look at that YouTube setup. Can you see? Look at that. That state of the art programming. You can't see me. Let's try that again. Internet. Hello. Hello, Internet. Long time no speak. Ironic. Thank you for the person that commented on my shave head video. That was very nice of you. It's weird when people comment. I've just been sort of posting and getting my ideas into the ether. Not really expecting anything of it, especially in the short term. So it's nice. It's nice to be nice. What's the crack today? There's definitely a positive, uplifting nature of the world at the moment, I feel like. The stars are aligning, it feels like. Also, that's called Half Job, that. I need to finish that. That's been on there for months. It's just, you know when life gets absolutely crazy, like you feel like survival mode, you just have to prioritise like surviving. It's a bit mad really, but there is positivity flowing out of the earth from the universe, whatever, at the moment I feel like, which is really cool. Really cool. Boxing again. My back has been good enough to box, so that's super. Oh, I didn't post a video yesterday. That's good. I always feel better after boxing. I love it. I've been playing a little bit of football. Oh, it's ants. That's where they come from. I've been playing a bit of football as well. That makes me feel good. I enjoy playing football on my own. Just doing drills, really, kind of. But trying to do it in like an enjoyable framework, because otherwise, you're not in the moment. You're too much thinking about why you're doing it rather than just doing it because you're doing it, which is what I get with boxing. I just do it because I like it. I get into the moment. And I think when you start thinking too much about, I found this with rugby when I was training for rugby, because it meant so much to me and I was putting so much into it that I wasn't flowing with it. It's like I saw an interview with Jamie Curitan, who's a football player who's still playing at like 48, and he's talking about being a striker, and it's just got to be instinctive. And there's a big thing of that, overthinking and lack of performance and over arousal on the curve of being too wound up by the situation that you end up overthinking it and playing badly, which is me to an absolute T. Like, oh my god! When I was confident, I ended up getting a tryout with Tranmere. I mean, I ended up getting it through someone I knew, but like I was not quite that level, but I did skin out and Cresswell, which is, he obviously went on to do good things in football, and that's sort of my claim to fame from my teenage years, anyway. But yeah, when I was that year and I was surrounded by people that I felt loved and confident, like I was just like shooting from anywhere, just skinning people, using my pace, like just, you know, going for it, not worrying about the outcome. That's it, isn't it? It's worrying about the outcome. When you're over fixated on the outcome, you lose the process. And it's all about that flow state. The goal setting theory is like, if you hyper focus on the end goal, it's like Tyson Fury and Johnny Wilkinson. There's this theme, like if you focus your whole life on this thing and then you get to the thing, you're like, is that it? Because it's just a moment. And actually we need to get to a point where, in the Rudyard Kipling poem, If, it describes this, about how if you can have good things happen and bad things happen, but stay the same and not be affected, that's kind of where you get control over the consciousness and ether around you, I guess, is kind of not a simple way of putting it. If water runs off a duck's back, for bad and good, you want to be like the oak tree. The oak tree's got a solid trunk. It doesn't move, even if the wind, which would be other people's opinions or life happening, the wind doesn't move the trunk. The branches move and like flicker around, but then the trunk always stays the same. And that's something important I learned in therapy. That's cool. That's helped. And it's getting to a point where you are content with your own choices and own thought processes, that you're the oak tree and the leaves and the branches. But there's a difficulty in that, where closed-mindedness comes from, because closed-mindedness is stubborn and open-mindedness can be determined, no, the other way around. Stubbornness is closed-minded, and stubbornness is closed-minded, and determination is open-minded. And stubbornness and pride are interlinked, and pride's a sin. I think that's not from me. That's from Jesus, the big J man. The other one is, though, I will take credit for that. Stubbornness is closed-minded, determination is open-minded. There's nothing worse than dealing with a closed-minded person. Stubbornness is closed-minded. I keep saying it the way around, don't I? Stubbornness is closed-minded, determination is open-minded. That's your little tip for the day. I don't need to worry about what to say now. And I've lost train of thought. Oh yeah, about being in the moment, enjoying the journey to get there. So for example, my example with boxing is I love going there every day and doing it. Even though I don't go every day. I hopefully will do very soon, because I'll get fucking paid, son. Going there and doing it every day. I'm not hyper focusing on I want to be British champion, I want to be world champion. That's not why I'm doing it. Whereas with rugby, it was, I'm going to be the oldest person to turn professional, this is my goal, and I'm hyper focusing on it. And you lose the flow state where, you know, when you lose track of time, that's the enjoyment, time flies where you're having fun. You lose that flowy bit, the bit where you're enjoying it, the bit where you're losing track of time and you're being instinctual and you're just going with it. That's what you want to chase. Well, if you talk to a Buddhist, they'll probably say the chase is, you need to be present, and anyway, too deep for right now. But it's that enjoying what you're doing is the thing that is the goal, and then the other stuff just happens as a byproduct. Because what we should really be looking for, instead of hyper focusing on these goals, like society seems to tell us that we need achievement, whether it be academic, sporting, business, success is material success, and this is how you get it, you get da 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 da. Well, actually, real success, I imagine, from what I can gather in my findings of life, and this is that just enjoying the stuff that you're doing on a day-to-day basis is the goal. Not hyper focusing on external, being happy in the internal, being the oak tree, and then going about doing things that lifts you up. I went there. So hyper focusing on a goal you end up like Tyson Fury or Johnny Wilkinson, and they've both had, obviously, listening to them speak, processes that they've gone through that weren't necessarily the most fun. After achieving what they wanted to achieve, and then it being frivolous and going soon thereafter, because it's just a moment. All we have is the present moment. We don't have anything else. The past is memory and the future is a forward memory, so it's like, this is all we have here and now, right now. That's it. That's all we've got. But we always think in terms of need, want, external, when that presents, it brings you out of the moment, it takes you out of the present moment. You're focusing on something else, so you're not happy, you're not here, you're not present, you're not in the moment, you're not enjoying the here and now. But if you're in a flow state, you're completely in the here and now, so much that you completely lose track of time. That's the thing you should chase. If chasing is probably the wrong word in this context, but that's the thing that you should, that's most conducive to feeling good. And if you can combine that with goal setting, I'm going to contradict myself here, aren't I? Maybe you need a balance of both. because I am super ambitious and I do have loads of plans. But then if we goal set and you break them down into little individual goals, this is what being open-minded is about. Like challenging, being open to other perspectives, thinking on your feet. I talk a lot about and do a lot in my life of goal setting, breaking down into little goals. But the flow state is where it's at. Ooh, I'm having an epiphany of sorts. So I guess it depends on what your ultimate goal might be. If you've got like dreams and aspirations, that's like super important because then it gets you out of bed. But at the same time, that flow state is like better than any drug. So then how do you combine the two to get to a point of most, like the ideal point of being in the system that we're in the human society? It seems to be having goals, having really, really, really high ambition and then working them back into littler goals, but doing them because you have the goals linked to things that you love or that mean something to you. Finding your purpose, finding your passion, following your heart. Then combining that with the head of breaking down goals into smaller chunks, manageable goals along the way, like a pyramid, littler goals, but then they get bigger and they get bigger along the way to get to a place where you want to get to. So that's kind of like combining Buddhism type stuff with capitalism in a sense, isn't it? So I wonder if it's quite poignant, isn't it? So if you're able to create an existence for you where you can get both, within a sort of, if you can have flow state within a structure, the Buddhists would say that takes you out of the present moment though. I guess maybe they're like trying to find a balance of the life that you want to live in terms of like the flow state. And this is going back to like the 5 rings thing about like having a creative goal or an instrument or art or some sort of professional goal, a career, side hustle, an athletic goal, 10k, rugby player, social goal of just spending more time with people because it lifts you up, and I always forget the 5th one: creative, social, professional, sporting, spiritual. I'm in spiritual practice. Ooh, combining these things I've been thinking about for ages. So combining, it's almost like the Buddhist being present in the moment with the capitalist system that we live in, goals that are linked to things where you get your flow state or things that mean something to you. So if you can find something where you lose track of time because you're enjoying it, that also then helps you to climb the ladder of your smaller goals that end up getting higher to a bigger goal, which is really, really high. Think of the biggest goal you can get and then make it even higher and then work it back. But also do that in line with things of meaning that mean something to you and benefit others, and try and find flow state. And I wonder if that might be, you might have to like break it into those 5 though. You got creative, professional, spiritual, social, athletic. Perhaps within all those 5, within those 5 things, you can have a bit of both. So it's okay, I want to learn, I want to play the girl with the flaxen hair on the piano in the next 5 years. And then you have that goal, and then you work back from that. Okay, well, I need to do 10 minutes a day on that, and within that 10 minutes, you find the flow state. You start to lose track of time because you're enjoying the process. Same with running. If you go out for a run, you'll get the flow state, and you're training towards 10k. Then in the back of your head, you'll be like, oh, maybe I could do a marathon, or maybe I could be the oldest person for professional rugby. I think that's how you do it. I think I'm quite happy with this. And career, I think career is the one where people get stuck in it. I was very fortunate in that I was helped to get up the ladder on property, which enabled me to have the flexibility to be more entrepreneurial. But not everybody has that. That's an issue, isn't it? It's not fair. And then that creates the haves and have-nots, which creates resentment. It's also perpetuated by the media and marketing, capitalism. All this is interesting stuff. If you can hit your 5 rings, I keep listing and getting mixed up, and within that have the goals of each thing, and achieve the flow state during the processes, while also moving to a higher goal that's sort of predetermined by you to try to get to. Perhaps if you combine the 5 rings for a final end goal, but then does that take the fun out of it? Not if you're having flow state regularly, because you're enjoying the journey. And then whilst you have sort of a direction of where you want to go with it, as long as you're going forward, even if it's to the side, you're still moving forward, you just recalibrate. The goal can be changed at any time. The goal is flexible rather than can be changed at any time, if you want to change it. And then if you can somehow manage to link the 5 things, that might be unattainable. Unless you want to sing and play rugby at the same time. Well, unless you have 5 separate goals. How could you link those 5 goals? Okay, so like you could have be a rugby player, and creative could be a YouTube channel like I'm doing, which could then inspire people, which would help social and create community, which would then also, God, I think I'm a theatre, which would then also, some sort of tie that into the Buddhism and the meditation and the wellness, the spirituality, and then, is that 5? That's 4 fingers, but I feel like it's 5. Well, I feel quite blessed. I just worked that out on my feet. Oh, right. Okay, I got quite a lot of that. But I guess the problem is not everybody does. So it's how can people get more of it? What's the advantages? It's flexibility through entrepreneurship, and how do we make entrepreneurship more accessible for others that aren't as privileged? Not the silver spoon born up their ass. Equality of opportunity within the capitalist structure, that you are going to get some people that rise higher because they work harder from a position of the same opportunity. Yeah, it's all about raising that bottom rung, isn't it? If you can raise the bottom rung of the ladder so that everyone has an equal start, or at least the bottom rung is, the gap between the bottom rung and the top rung is less, and that will create more equality, more opportunity for people to break out of the system that's probably designed to keep them down. I really need to cut that bush. But That was quite poignant. I'm quite I'm quite pleased with that point. It's all about raising the bottom rung, isn't it? Because in the system, you're always going to get people that rise up, whether that be intellect, drive, chance, faith, God. So there is no chance. But me tensing. Yeah, I'm just going to talk about like God and that, but like swear down. Yeah. Raise the bottom rung through education. Stop that shout. Raise the bottom rung through education. So at least then there's a chance. Because right now there's not really, is there? So that's the system that has to do that. Whatever it is that controls, whoever has the most money, basically, needs to stop wasting it on frivolous shit and put it back into the world that got them to where they are. Even if it didn't get them to where they are, because maybe they were on silver spoon. And maybe that's why it ties in with the people at the top with the money. Don't want it to be because they want to be the ones who do it. But why can't we all have it? Why can't everyone? Why can't all of us have money and comfortability? But you don't actually want loads of money. That's fugazi, and it's kind of like faux pas to talk about. It can be really, really shit, and that sounds like, oh my god, this guy with fucking loads of money, just fucking complaining about having loads of money. Right, or being good looking. That's unfortunately, compared to my self-worth issues, fairly objective, as I've come to process. The two worst things that ever happened to me in my entire life were because I had money and was good looking. Like being conned by very, very close people so they can try and take it. Conned. Bruh. You know what that did to my fucking trust issues? Or abused sexually. Ugly fat kids don't get abused sexually, but that's a horrible thing. That was a joke. That was a joke. Settle down. Settle down. But there is a point within that dark joke. That's kind of why I said it. So, yeah. I drove past a woman in a 56 plate Vauxhall Corsa, a grey one, similar to the one I had. And there was a dog in the back, and it was just her and a friend, and they were just bobbing along in this old cool car. I think it's cool anyway. And I looked over, and I just thought I felt so much envy for her. And I'm sure that she really didn't like her car, probably, and she wished that she could drive a Porsche or whatever, or I don't know, something a bit nicer. Even though I think that car's really cool. I thought about actually buying one. I've got my car, and it's like 800 quid. Suzuki. 09 plate Suzuki, 150,000 miles. And yeah, I drove past her and I was like, I felt so much envy for her. Her life is so much simple. Yeah, I'm sure the money stresses are really brutal, and the system is not designed in a way to empower those that don't have it, and that's not okay. And I'm sure it's really shit. I'm also very confident we waste money on frivolous shit that we don't need, and we're force-fed this idea of materialism through the media, which isn't conducive to money betterment, because it's all about being a baller. Being a baller is celebrated, and it should be demonized. Because it actually that's one thing I think about the rappers that talk about guns, bitches, and bling. They don't know the damage that they're doing to young people of their, like them when they were kids. Like that whole perpetuating cycle of it's gangster to have like diamonds and that. It's gangster to earn loads of money and then waste it on things that look cool, which means nothing, and not invest it and then help other young kids. But that's not the world that we live in. It's cool to have the biggest chain. Says who? Says other people that have chains. But there's always someone with a bigger chain. You can't even win that game. So why are you flexing, bro? Why are you flexing that you're wasting money? Why are you flexing that you're being manipulated by a system to waste money to keep people like you, young people like you, stuck in the system, in the cycle? They should be celebrating investing. How many businesses have you got? Right? How much, but not like, I make so much money, bro. Because what are you going to do with that money? I'm going to put it back into the community. I'm going to employ local people. I'm going to bring manufacturing back to wherever you live. I'm going to empower the people that were, like the north, when all the industrial stuff shut. Right, the north, some parts of the north are pretty fucked. Well, alright, well let's bring them back. Someone's got to. Oh no, they don't. That's why homeless people exist. So we earn money to then waste it to look cool when it's not cool. So then more other people do it. But it's not cool. It's like smoking. Smoking was brought out, it looked cool. And they probably did that on purpose so that more people would do it and die. But maybe just be manipulated by a system that doesn't care about you. It's awkward, isn't it? Awkward so. My wrist. No, not that. Left hook, baby, on the heavy bag. Shouldn't do the heavy bag, mate. It's just ego. I try and just tap it, but sometimes in the sessions they say you hit it a power, and it's like, this is gonna hurt. So don't waste money on buying bottles of Grey Goose and Prada this and Prada that, because I tell you one thing for certain. Money talks and wealth whispers, and there's a reason for that. Partly because it makes you a target and it's not fun. Also partly because rich people invest in money. And the desire to want to look rich comes from someone that isn't. That's where it really comes from. That's why they call it nouveau riche, new rich. Blasting money on like material, designer goods. It's new rich. Because you get to a point where it's like, invest that motherfucker. Invest it. Don't waste it. Because that's how wealth's created. Do you think you create wealth by blasting through money in a nightclub? Do you think you make wealth by trying to flash out the biggest chain that's possibly going to depreciate? Maybe going to get nipped. Definitely not going to make you look cool. No, I don't want to judge anyone. I don't mean to say that in like a judgmental way. Like, do whatever you want. Like, it's like the whole sexuality thing. I don't care. Do whatever you want. That's not even that I don't care. It's not even a consideration. Just do whatever you like. Each to their own. But I'm suggesting that there may be alternatives that might bring you more fulfillment, and that of other people, young people, that will then make the world a better place. But what do I know? I'm just a overweight, bald man from Warrington, sat on his doorstep talking to a iPad on top of a 10-kilo bag of dog food. Just you wait, pal. You'll listen when I'm super famous. And then I'll prove another point about it all, because you will listen to me when I'm super famous. And nobody listened to start with. Because false idols, it says in the Bible, don't do that. It's almost like for thousands of years this has all been written down. And actually, if we just got our heads out of our arses, the world might be a better place. Maybe. Bye, internet.